another episode. Make sure that y'all come through. Hit the like button, man. Come give it up for us in the Locked In podcast. You already know before we start this thing, we all have to give a shout out to the sponsors of this podcast as they've been loyal to me. And so I just gotta make sure I give the loyalty back, but in the right way. And that's where we have the queen of the promos next to us. Fanny, what we got coming for what we got coming for the sponsors?
Shout out to Millie Moon Luxury Diapers for our luxury Wiggler Waddlers and our luxury toddlers. And use the promo code YOLEAK so you can receive 20% off your purchase for your first time parents and your repeat parents. And ladies, let's not forget that special time of the month. Use the promo code Yo Radiance 10 packs pads and get your 20% off your purchase. Back to you, TSM.
Yo, we got a spicy live coming tonight. We got different things we're gonna touch on. Shout out to everybody in the chat. My mom. Shout out to Naya, Miss Shari in the building. Of course, we got Brenda Huckabee in the building. So shout out to her as well. Much respect to everybody that's coming through. Fanny, won't you let everybody know what we're gonna be talking about tonight? And before we start, we're just gonna kind of greet everybody and tap in with everybody's day, how the days, man, what you guys eating, what was the highlight of your day, so on and so forth.
Shout out to Reverb Nation. Shout out to the replay gang, the cloud watchers, and of course, our haters. Shout out to y'all. And shout out to everybody who's in the building. Shout out to Helen. Shout out to Naya, Brenda. Shout out to everybody that's in the building right now. And just like he said, we got something spicy for you guys. And thank you, Helen, for always coming through with the disclaimers. We really appreciate it because we need those. We absolutely need those. Well, tonight's conversation is going to be about Corey Holcomb. We're going to talk about the backlash from yesterday versus between Tank and Tyrese. We're also going to talk about Jay-Z. And there's some other things we're going to get on. We're going to talk about the new, well, it's not new, a Georgia law that went into effect. TSM may or may not know about this. But yeah, that's what we got going on for tonight.
Yeah, I've been working on something new with Ashley. Shout out to Ashley, by the way. Shout out to all the female truck drivers. I've been working on something new with her. Hopefully that y'all like it. Reverb Nation, y'all dubbed me the king of creations when it comes to the shows and everything. And I see that y'all loving all the shows, and I see that y'all really loving the What's So Fanny cartoon. And listen, I've been trying to keep up with creating episodes back to back for that. So I'm definitely doing it. But like I say, today I'm gonna drop something. As far as me and Ashley goes, that's gonna be cool. I don't know where I want to be at with like the whole concept of it right now. I'm thinking, as far as my mind concerned right now, is that we are gonna be live streaming from her truck, from her rig, and it's just gonna be like some fun things. I think where we're gonna be just telling like some crazy story times, and we got the animations, some of the animations popping up so that you can kind of see what happened during the story we telling. And I'm thinking for the most part that we need some dark nights. You know what I'm saying? And so yeah, be looking out for that, y'all. It's different. Like I say, we don't want that trucking lifestyle. That's a whole nother lifestyle. So you have to think outside the box. It's different, but y'all might like it. Y'all gonna rock with it. I haven't really watched the episode yet. I'm still waiting on some things to get through and a process of editing. But check it out once y'all see it drop. And I see that y'all love y'all loving the yo, who's your man. I see y'all loving the heck out of that. And I just see I ain't go I got to keep creating that. Like y'all just ain't gonna let me stop on that one. And everybody's asking me again for the Family Girl cartoon. I'll get back to that. Right now, I'm exploring with me and May May, and so the stand up, the duo stand up, and then kind of like the different family. We focusing on that right now, and ultimately, I go back to doing a family girl cartoon character. Shout out to my mom for dropping this. Miss Fanny, what's going on?
Oh, and I
Oh,
forgot.
and I
Um,
forget.
Shout out to Elijah and TSM for their collab. Elijah's 8 years old. And shout out to y'all. You did a great job. And thank you, TSM, for collabing with this young man. It was really great to see. I love the song as well. If you haven't heard it, please go show the song some love. I really enjoyed that as well. Um, but once again, we're going to talk about um, Corey Holcomb. And the reason why we're going to talk about, because if you don't know who Corey Holcomb is, he has a
That's the
podcast.
I'll be right back. Anytime y'all hear that bell, and I got time to tell y'all, I'll be right back. Once y'all hear that, just know I'll be right back, and I'll be right back.
If you guys don't know who Corey Holcomb is, he has a podcast called 5150. And we've talked about him in the past about some of the things he stated. Um, and right now he's receiving his just due for some of the comments that he's made about children and women. There also was a video that was released. But before I get into all of that, I'm going to say allegedly. This is for educational purpose. This is not real. This commentary isn't real. This is all an illusion. This is fake. You didn't hear from us. I'm not real. He's not real. What you're seeing right before you is not even real. So do not take it to heart. With that being said, and shout out to you, Helen, for once again for putting a disclaimer in the chat. Um, his words have come back to pretty much bite him on his arse. Um, he's made some distasteful comments about women and children. And right now, um, people have kind of just backed away. He's lost a lot of tour dates because he was on tour. They were canceled. From my understanding, once again, this is not real. I'm not real. I'm not a real person up here. This is just an illusion. This is all alleged. Anything I say before, during, or after is actually an illusion. It is not real. So he's lost a lot of brand deals. He's lost also a lot of supporters. And with that being said, and shout out to Poetic Flocka. He dropped a video about Corey Holcomb. Shout out to him. And if you're not subscribed to his channel, go show his channel some love. Once again, his name is Poetic Flocka. He dropped a video earlier today to talk about the Holcomb situation. And
Yo,
the
Fanny, let me
situation,
may I interrupt you real quick on that? You remember how earlier we were speaking, and I was telling you, I was like, you was telling me that the young lady who, I guess, I don't know if she used to work for Corey Holcomb or she's currently still working for him, but you was telling me about how she was getting bashed. She was online, and they was bashing her and stuff like that, right? And I was telling you, I was like, yo, I don't understand why why certain people, when they around somebody at such high profile, why do they accept that? They looking at it as, well, this is my job, this is what's paying me, and versus at it as, okay, you've been here on this platform long enough, and I feel like if you leave, or even if you get fired for speaking up, that you have enough credibility to go out and build your own, and it wouldn't be as difficult as it would be a normal person, because every person that used to watch this podcast may come to you. and turn your channel up or whatever it is that you're doing socially. And Poetic Flacco is a perfect example of that. Poetic Flacco was just a wingman on his show called No Jumper, where he just sat on the side and gave an opinion on a hip hop culture. And the guy who was, which his name is Adam 22, he was just like doing and saying some things that just came off as like racist. And Poetic Flacco was one of the ones, just like in this situation, Poetic Flacco spoke up and he left No Jumper and built his own. And now we know his channel, what he have it as today. And it didn't take much because he was already connected with that podcast to begin with. And that's what I say. A lot of people like this lady here who we're speaking of, she could have taken that same route. Like, yo, I'm gonna speak up for what's right. Even if I get fired, I can pull the Poetic Flacco. I can go out and make my own, or do my own, or build my own. You know what I'm saying? If that makes any sense.
I agree. But if you don't know your worth, if you attach your talent or your ability to reach the masses to another person, that's not your mindset. It's really not. And I think, they always say clout is the new drug. And a lot of times people will attach themselves to people who not necessarily mean them any good. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, how in the entertainment industry, people can do something as a child, but once they get older and become adults, they are already stereotyped. They will be forever attached to that in which they were as a child. And I think in her situation, if she would have just spoken up and said, I disagree with everything that he said, and took a stance and walked out, she would have been more respected as a woman, as a mother, because this man spoke very ill about children. But that's not the stance that she took. Um, and I think it's disheartening because the stance was only taken when it affected her personally, if that makes sense. And I think that happens a lot more often than not. What do you think?
Again, that's why I think, you know, and situations like this, or it just in placements like this, people don't people aren't optimistic enough. And what I mean by that is, you don't have to attach yourself to anybody, but why you there, why not learn something to take with you? You know what I'm saying? It should be looked upon as a teaching lesson, especially when you're in a predicament like that, when you're around all of this production, all of this equipment, all of this versatile commentary. You're not supposed to attach yourself, but you're supposed to learn from that. What can you take from that? You should be able to at least take 5% to 10% away from every situation that you walk into and open your mouth and speak upon. If you can't take 10 to 5% away from that conversation, it was just a waste of your time. Unless you was there for the emotion, for the feeling, and for the paycheck. But in that situation, that's why I said people get in a placement and they making so much money where it blocks their strategical way of thinking. They're not thinking for the future. They're making money now. They're not thinking, okay, one day I could be learning where I'm working from right now. I could be learning things from this, so I could take it in the future, use it as a beacon of opportunity to put into my own placement. If that makes any sense, and a lot of people not doing this. A lot of people not. They just go there and make the money. That's why I say shout out to Poetic Flacco. He was at No Jumper podcast for I think 4 years or something like that. And every year he was there, he was learning something. He was taking from thumbnails to whatever the hell it was. He was learning things. And like now here we are. And we have this Poetic Flacco now that's one of hip hop's news on YouTube, probably biggest platforms that's out here pushing it. Especially for our community. And so it's people like that I really want to kind of keep watching and keep acknowledging and keep taking from. And so I feel like if that woman had done the same thing, spoke up, got out, and did something about it, that she would be in a better placement that she's in now. Sometimes we speak ourselves into situations too.
I think that too, and unfortunately, they are holding her at a higher standard that I believe that they're holding him just because she's a woman. Because we all know that when it comes to children, we look towards the women and say, "Hey, we don't agree with this. We're totally against this." But then you got some women who have children, who don't have children, who engage in bashing of children. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, it happens more often than not. And I think in her situation, I don't think she even, and I'm not making any excuses for her. I just don't feel like because it wasn't her child that she didn't feel the need to speak out. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
And I gotta say this because I was just speaking up on this. I think within the last few podcasts, she's getting more heat than Corey Holcomb's getting. And Corey Holcomb's the guy of the objective. I've been saying this for so long. We keep giving the guys a chance, but when it's a female, we burn their ass quick. Why do we keep doing this? This is another example. I just told y'all this. I just spoke of this. We just been over this. It's the same situation. That young lady is getting more heat than Corey Holcomb. She's getting heat for not saying nothing. And she's not even the one who said it. They wanted her to speak up. And she's getting so much heat. And most of her heat, y'all know where it's coming from, don't y'all? Women. Some people actually laughing about Corey Holcomb, like, oh, he's not serious. Oh, he's just mentally. But then they shoot fire in that. They shooting fire at her. Society is cooked. Why is women treated like this? I understand she's in the wrong. I'm not taking up for her. But what I'm trying to say is, how can we take the responsibility of somebody else and bash the next person for not speaking out about it? Superly bash them. Meanwhile, we laid back looking at the person who's initially the objective. We laid back like, oh, that's just so and so. He's just a crazy weirdo. That's what he does. Ah, he. But when it comes to the co-host, we giving her fire. I don't know. It seems it, I want to say something, but then I don't. It seems like they're trying to force a certain agenda on people. I don't know. It just seems like they trying to get a certain community to be just like not like this much. It just felt like women are always the target. I don't know why. It's already enough rappers and stuff like that beating on women. Like I don't know, just feel like they forcefully trying to. It's almost like a hate crime, if you would. But every time this comes out, y'all got to remember the internet. We are the ones with the last say so, right? The people on the internet, right? The people who saved Mr. Tendernism, the people who got Corey Holcomb in trouble. He went in trouble to all of us podcasters start talking about it, right? So the internet got it right. I want to know why is us the internet? Why do we have so much hatred towards women when they get put on blast for something? We never show that same energy to men. It might be a conspiracy, but I was just talking about this, and here we are in a in a similar situation. I have not seen so much heat on this young lady than I see on Corey Hall. It's like, why isn't he getting this much backlash or heat? People looking at it going, "Oh, that's just Corey Holcomb, man. You can expect that from him." But her, you know better. You a woman. Blah 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 blah. Like, shouldn't the man, the king of the household, shouldn't he be the one to know better? My Excuse me if I'm wrong, but shouldn't the woman be following in the steps of the king of the household? So I don't know, Fanny. What's your thoughts on everything I said?
I feel
I
as a
feel
woman,
as
this
a woman, this
I feel as a
I feel
woman,
as a woman,
meet your mic.
meet your mic.
Um,
Um,
I feel as a woman, there's a lot of projection that goes on. There's some women who actually hate themselves and they will project that energy off onto another woman. And I think That's where you get the disagreements with women. And me and Helen has spoke in great deal about this. If you go back a while ago, we was talking about a sisterhood and why these things occur. And I think a lot of times, uh, most of the time, there's always a man involved. And like you said, they're giving him a pass, and this woman is just going through it. You know what I'm saying? Because she's being held at a higher standard than the person who actually said those things. And I think a lot of times the reason why other women will attack her is because they're looking at it like, but you're a woman, you're a mom, you have children, you should have said something. But they're not looking at him like, you're a father, you're a man, you should have said something. Your job is to protect. And unfortunately, as women, we can be our own worst enemies. You know what I'm saying? They'll be like, well, yeah, he a man, but we really expect for men to say such deplorable things. Yeah, I mean, he said it. It was wrong for him to say it, but he's a man. You expect for men to say that. But you, as a woman,
Yo, somebody, yo, Antoine from Reverb Nation wanted this highlighted. He paid $1 to get this question asked. He said, when women going through when women going through with women going through similar tragic life experiences such as having babies, that should build a connection slash bridge between women. It's difficult to see women turn amongst each other's. Like, what's your opinion on that? That's a good statement because men, like, we don't really have nothing super strong to keep us bonded with each other. Like, that's the guys. But y'all go through something that a man would never understand. Like, y'all squeeze babies out of y'all. That's something big. That's not just like a snap at their finger. So with y'all all having that understanding in common, and of course the nature thing, right? The mother nature thing. Y'all all go through something that the men just don't go through, and we will never understand. How could y'all go through so much life changing situations and still be at odds so much? Not saying you or the ladies here, but you have the mindset of a woman. So just kind of real quick, if you can elaborate on that for me.
again, it goes back to who you were exposed to, what you were taught. People have to understand that as women, we were all born females, but we had to be taught to be women. It's about what we were exposed to. And unfortunately, a lot of young ladies have not had that woman experience. So there's a lot of jealousy, there's a lot of self hate, there's a lot of envy. And it's really, really sad to watch. So when they encounter a woman, it's unfamiliar territory because they have the little girl mindset. They can't meet her on the same playing field as they, because that has not been their experience. And it's, yeah, they are jealous. That's why. And they have not had that woman experience. You know, if it had not been my me being raised by my grandmother, I wouldn't have had that woman experience. You know what I'm saying? And as a woman, it's easy for me to engage and have a conversation with another woman because we on the same playing field. It's very, very difficult for me to have a conversation with someone who has not had that woman experience, who has that childlike mentality. And you can always point that out. You will, as a woman, I could see that immediately in the way they speak, the way they carry themselves, the way they conduct themselves. And it's always the undertone, the root of it all is self hate. And the thing of it is, that's why the Bible says older women are supposed to teach the younger women. But if you're not willing to be taught, you're going to always have that mindset. And unfortunately, it's going to be your downfall. So that's where that comes from. So I hope that answered your question.
All right, y'all. You already know what time it is. We got to get into the next topic of drama, man. Let's get into it. Fanny, what we got going on for the next topic?
Wow, the sound effects, y'all. We were talking about earlier before. If you didn't see the live earlier, go back and watch the live because we were live earlier, and we were touching a little bit on the Jay-Z situation with him signing a contract with the NFL and how he kind of backdoor Jermaine Dupri with that contract.
Ain't no conda. He backdoored him.
Once again, this is allegedly. We are not real. The statements that you're hearing are not coming from us. This is all allegedly. This is for educational purposes. This is for entertainment purposes. This is not coming from us. We are not real. We're all an illusion. So, TSM, give me your
Give me
take.
your take. Um, the whole thing just shows you how shady the entertainment business is. It's not just in rap. It's not just in music. It's in entertainment in general. And for those who might not know what I'm talking about or we talking about, we're speaking about Jay-Z. Basically, so allegedly there was this deal from the NFL put on the table for Jermaine Dupri. And Jay Z basically stepped in and interfered in that deal by telling Jermaine Dupri, nobody in the industry, none of us black folks are really rocking with the NFL. It's going to be a boycott. Nobody's dealing with the NFL. We're not doing any business with them. So Jermaine Dupri turned down the deal, and as he turned down the deal, Jay Z allegedly went behind Jermaine Dupri's back and signed the deal for himself, kicking Jermaine Dupri out the deal completely and taking 100% of the proceeds for himself. Um, that right there is deeper than just stealing a deal. That's a setup for failure. That's taking money. What people don't realize is when you take a job away from, it don't matter. It could be a regular person. I'm not just gonna say a celebrity. When you take a job away from a regular person, y'all don't understand or might not know that that one job could be supplying several different mouths. Family, kids, grandmas, uncles, etc. And each dollar is important. And so when you taking money away or allegedly taking a job away from somebody, you're also taking away from somebody's family. And that shows you what type of person someone may be. Some people value money over integrity and over morals and loyalty. And some people would pass off a dollar just to be with their family. They wouldn't care about the dollar. And so in this instance, it kind of exposed Jay-Z character. And of course it's still allegedly, but it all was allegedly until he did this interview. And trying to defend himself in this interview, he didn't make himself look any better at all. And so, now, and what I always tell people is some people take 10% of their blessing and they run away with it instead of waiting and receiving the 100% of their blessing. And so with Jay-Z doing that, he might have made a couple $1,000,000, right? But that's probably just 10% of his blessing. Now, taking away the rest of his blessing could be something such as, May May in the building. Shout out to you, May May. Much respect. We appreciate you coming to Fanny. Say it up for May May. She done stepped through in the building.
Hey, Nay, how you doing, boo? Thank you for coming.
Yeah, so he basically, stepped over his own blessings because now when he need to run to the black entertainment industry to say, yo, we're gonna boycott this or we're gonna boycott that. Who the hell is gonna believe him after doing this to Jermaine Dupri out of all people, somebody that he worked with for decades, not just years but decades. This won't be their first run in together. They've been working together since Crisscross, I believe. Fanny, what's your take?
I feel like not all money is good money. I think for this to have been Jay Z's comeback, I think another reason why Jay Z is getting the backlash that he's getting. I hate to do this.
Yo, are
Oh, I
we gonna go there? We going to the island with this one? We going to the files? We going to the documents with this one? You think it's
no,
because of the? Is it the? We not talking about the Epstein files because he's in there. That's what I'm hearing. I'm just saying that. Wait, real quick before you finish. Did he fled? Did he? Is he out of the country? I heard he like left the country.
who left the
Who
country?
left the country? Jay Z. I heard he's no longer in the U.S.
I'm not sure. Um, Another reason why he's getting backlash is because on his quote unquote comeback, people was looking at his appearance and I really hate to do.
No, you know what? That I now that part I disagree with. Like, yo, if you 40 and 50 and you still want to look fly, if you still want to pop off with whatever it may be, with your locks, with your grip, I know that right there, I totally disagree. And for me, that shows me how screwed up the internet is. Like, I feel like it don't matter how he came on there, people will have something to say about his looks. They talked about his grills, and his grills is probably like 3 to 5 grand. You know what I'm saying? Platinum, and it's just like they tripping about, oh, he's this 40-year-old man with grills and he's dressed like, y'all probably like 40, 50 on the internet saying something about somebody's looks, and it's like, is there a dress code for how people should dress? Like, we don't, just because I'm 30 something don't mean I have to dress like I'm 30 something. You know what I'm saying? I understand, like, it's a thin line between like maybe like a grandmother dressing like a hoochie and stuff like that. Like, I get that, but like, let that man pop his shit. Like, excuse my language, ladies, but like, damn, let the man pop his, let him do it. Like, why not? Like, if you that age and you got the money to do it, why not? Nobody was talking about how much he paid for what he had on. The man probably was wearing 20 to 30 grand. Nobody was talking about that, but they was talking about, oh, he's 40, he's coming on here with a grill and all of this. Like, what did y'all expect him to come on here with a cane, a tucked in polo with the khakis past his belly button, like with the glasses on the end of his nose? Like, I don't get it. That's what I'm saying. We put our people in a box. People see me all the time, and either it's two things: either I'm gay or either I'm a killer because of the tattoos on my face. And it's like, damn, can I be something else? Like, what, you know what I'm saying? And so that part right there, I just 100% disagree with. But I love to see what you got to say. And suspenders. I love to see what you got to say.
I just feel like, like you said, people always are so judgmental. They were just attacking him on his appearance because he's a billionaire, and they had a different expectation.
Wait. Before you continue, while we have May May in here, let her know you reached out, what we got going on, what we trying to do.
You gonna put May May
You
on the
gonna put May
spot?
May on the spot? Yeah, no. That's sis. She's cool. Like, May May is one of us. Like, she ain't no scary
I
shy. Oh,
know. I'm talking to May
you
May.
heard that damn song? May May bought that business. You know what I'm saying? Gunshots for May May, man. You know she ain't scared.
Me and May May
Me
already
and May May
talked.
already talked. Well, let's get it then, cause you ain't say nothing to me about it. We'll talk after the live. Let's get it. So
Okay.
back to what you were saying. What is your thoughts on this? Because you're an older woman, right? I see you be putting on some stuff. Like, don't act like you don't be putting on no body dresses and a mink fur and all. Like, you be throwing that stuff on. Like, I be saying, you, Miss Brenda, don't act like I ain't seen that picture of you throwing it on too. Look at Miss Brenda trying to throw it back there. So don't act like you don't know what I'm talking about. So what's your take on this? Do you agree with the internet? Do you feel like, man, I don't care how old somebody is, if they can throw that on, let them throw it on? What's your take on it?
I feel like if you can pop it and make it look good, why not? You know what I'm saying? I know some 30-year-olds that dress like grandpas. You know what I'm saying? Like they rocking the suspenders, they hitting the bow ties, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, and you wearing the socks up to your ankles, and it's like, oh, yay. Then you got some grandmas that's like, what's her name? Bernice Burgos. She's a grandmother. Fire. You feel what I'm saying? You got Lisa Gray, grandmother. Fire. You know what I'm saying? You got older ladies who out here who just doing a thing. And I just think a lot of times that people want to attack people the way they look, the way they dress, because they necessarily don't like that person. You know what I'm saying? And she said, yes, dress how you want to dress for sure. Yeah. And it's just like, me, you're not gonna see me in no booty shorts or nothing like that. I've never worn those things because I don't need to. But if I wanted to, I would, but that's not my cup of tea. But it's like for me, I just feel like they looked at Jay-Z like, come on, dude. You out here with the grills in your mouth, your dreads all over the place, and now you over here, you don't backdoor people. You don't want to talk about how you backdoor people. You just telling us to press on when you already don't got the bag. But what about all the other people that you don't backdoor? And he came out and said out of his own mouth, he never did that to anyone. He's never done that to anyone. And so it just leaves to me to ask the question, when are we gonna be held accountable for our own actions and not make excuses for I know that's right, or I haven't solved that. I need to. I think, it's just like you had brought up the Epstein files. His name is in it. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like it's a lot of people names are that are in it. But once again, if you like a certain person, you're gonna give them a pass. If you don't like that person, you're gonna drag them straight to hell. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's so sad because they're looking at this man like, okay, he's a billionaire. We're not gonna go too hard on him. But at the same time, you forgetting the people that were damaged by his actions. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, what is their relationship now? What is him and Jermaine's relationship like now? Do you know what it's like now, TSM? Can you give us any information on that?
You know what? Um, I don't know quite exactly, but I did see an interview with Jermaine Dupri, and he said something very interesting. He had said he's not going to speak too much on Jay Z or the situation, and said that when two people have so much dirt on each other, who can say what? And I thought about that. I was like, yo, that's kind of scary. What kind of dirt that y'all have on each other to where y'all scared to speak about each other publicly? And y'all are real high profile people. Like y'all shouldn't be scared to say anything. And so that alone is just like kind of creeped me out just hearing that. And I feel like some more gonna come out this, but I don't know what the relationship it's like now. But definitely know that they have some kind of dirt on each other. That can be released at any moment. And I feel like that's another reason Jay Z was so um comfortable doing what he did without consequences.
I just feel like the Jay-Z's of the world, I think a lot of people, it's just the same thing when he was dating Beyonce. There was a lot of rumors about her being a minor. Fox, Foxy Brown, Aaliyah. These are all young ladies that's at least 15 plus years younger than Jay-Z. And it's just like they are given a pass, whereas anyone else will be being called the you know what name. And I think a lot of people are unforgiving. I think people don't fail to realize that Beyonce is now a woman in her 40s. And I think there's he's rumored to be what, 60 or close to be 60 years old. I don't know. But I think a lot of people, because he's done so much, that people are still holding on to that. We don't forgive you. You came back and you said absolutely nothing. And they feel like he hasn't done much for the community. But again, you never know what this man has done behind the scenes because he hasn't been so public and people aren't so forgiving. And I think the interview just really didn't give what he expected it to give. What do you think he should have done different for his comeback?
I think what would have been a bigger impact and a better look for him personally is if he had a sit down interview with Jermaine Dupri. Um, I think he should have went to him first, the source of the problem, the source of the error that everybody's looking at, or at least reached out or said something. Even if they did that behind the scenes and we don't know, I feel like for him to go public for the first time since this happened, that publicity should have been used to kind of, not necessarily apologize, but to kind of acknowledge what he done wasn't right in some kind of way, or at least made some kind of partnership or something like that, if that makes any sense.
Or maybe Jermaine didn't want to have that sit down. Maybe they did, and it was just not something that was conducive. Because you know what? The culture vulture society is just really just that, a bunch of vultures who will prey on a group of people just to get numbers. They don't care about what's doing what's right. They don't care about what's doing what needs to get done to bring people together. It's all about a click and a view, a like, and it's just like I feel like
Value over quantity is what I call it.
I agree. And I just feel like, once again, when we was talking about the Corey Holcomb situation, where was his PR people? Where was his management people? Where was his team to come in and say, hey, you it's not a good look for you. This is really not a good look, because if you go on his channel, it's just kind of like, in my opinion, sad to watch. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of people don't think about that when they're so at such a level. And I think a lot of times, and people may have disagreed with me, I think a lot of times fans contribute to that, because fans will see the wrong in something that their favorite person will do, and they will cheer that on and applaud it, knowing that it's dead wrong, all because they like that person. And then it's like when the collapse comes, guess what? They gone with the wind. They're gone. They're not there anymore. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like how you go from having 300,000 plus down to allegedly 85. Where did all the people go? Where did they go? And it just goes to show you that, once again, like I said, nobody is bigger than a program. So I just think, you just got to be you just got to be mindful for that. Anything you do, you have to be humble. You have to, not always thinking that you're always going to be in a number one spot because there's going to be another Corey Holcomb. There's going to be another Jay-Z. There's going to be another Beyonce. It just goes on. It's the circle of life. You know what I'm saying? What you do with it when you have that baton is up to you.
Definitely a cheer now, boo later scenario where the same people who build you will be the same people booing you in your downfall. So you have to be careful how you euthanize your audience as well. Some people will get so big, so cocky to where they think they can do anything, and some can because their audience don't fault them for their wrongdoings or whatever the case may be. And that's where they get the cocky shoulders. I remember at one point he was like, "Yo, my 59 50ers don't play. They up in the comments and they not playing about me." And it went from that to he's not even speaking about the comments and taking up for him because the comments are the same people that were speaking up for him are now the same people that's helping in his downfall. And so again, that's why it kind of pays to not only interact with your audience so they can know you genuinely and get to know you as a person, but it kind of pays to not use your audience in a disgraceful way, and try to gain not only sympathy but emotion for anything that you implying yourself on that's going to be bad doing to your business. And that's what I think took place here. We can't hear you.
Over there and watch the video from Poetic Flocka just to see the desperation. It for me, it was kind of sad to watch because it's kind of like last week, a few days ago, you was real cocky and confident in what you were saying because you were used to pandering to an audience that applauded that behavior. And now it's kind of like it's awkward. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you had a chance to watch the video yet, but it was kind of awkward, you know. Uh, um and I think a lot of times people place themselves in situations that they really want to support a person, but they know that that person is so wrong. It's so wrong. It becomes awkward. That's why I tell people in my life, love me enough to tell me the truth because anything else is unacceptable. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes loving that person, telling them the truth might be the most painful thing you may ever hear. But with that, change should come. It should never be about, oh, I'm this person. I got this much in my account. I'm up here. I'm this and you're that. If it had not been for me, you know what I'm saying? Because you know, TSM, you've seen in the entertainment business how that go.
Yo, before we continue, what's going on, Josh? Thank you for coming through. Much respect. Fanny, say what's up to Josh. He done stepped through.
Hey
Hey,
Joshua.
Josh.
Thank you so much for coming.
Absolutely, Fanny. I agree with you 100%. Definitely. Definitely agree with you on that.
And before we continue, let's not forget tonight's sponsors, Millie Moon Luxury Diapers for our Wiggler Waddlers and our luxury toddlers. Shout out to you, Millie Moon Diapers. And don't forget use the promo code YOLEAKS to get your 20% off of your purchase of Millie Moon Diapers. And ladies, let's not forget that special time of the month where we can feel radiant, y'all, with Tampax Radiant Tampax pads and get your 20% off using the promo code Your Radiance. TSM, shall we continue on to the next topic? This one's
Let's
for
go.
you. This one's for you.
Let's go.
This one, this one's for Helen. Helen watched Versus last night. I didn't watch it. I'll tell y'all why I didn't watch it a little after this. But Versus, there was a verse between the singers, R&B singers Tank and Tyrese. And the people were not happy with their verses. And from what I've gathered, they said it was the fifth most worst verses they have ever heard. And I was like, wow, why? I didn't watch it because I'm going to be truthful with y'all. I can only remember one Tank song, and I don't even remember the name of it. But I could tell you a Tyree song. She said, I'm just very talented. So it's in so many ways, in so many ways. And it's just like, why wasn't the people happy? And TSM, your favorite person, spoke about why the verses was not good. Are you ready to hear his take on why he said the verses was not good?
Absolutely.
Once again, y'all, these are not my thoughts, nor they are my opinion of the podcast. This is not real. This is a simulation. This is all allegedly. So, once again, these are not my thoughts. They are not the thoughts of TSM. They are not the thought of TSM Entertainment. This is not real. This is all allegedly. This is not even AI. This is fake. This is just an illusion. So if you're ready to hear, let's get into it.
Than I was on verses, and I could feel it, the turtleneck and the anxiety in his voice and in his mood. Tyrese was trash. The Tank won, and that's before I even finished watching it. But I can feel the anxiety and the insecurity in Tyrese's voice. There's the
Before we continue, shout out to my good sis, Voice for the People. She's a good, so subscribe to her channel, Voice for the People TV. She has some great entertainment news over there. So shout out to you, sis.
book and his manners. Tyrese completely trash. He always has been. I didn't just say it. The Rock said it as well. Even though he's from Watts, it just there's much more talented people from Watts. I should have got a chance to drink the Coca-Cola bottle and experience love and life. I mean, this is a dude that that definitely cost Dr. Dre 300 million, and he just got his billion back. Um, and even though I'm crazy, and yeah, I'm nobody to be saying nothing about nobody on verses. But Tyrese's verses was worse than mine. Brandy is his brand. So, it's all good. But I think Tyrese was trash tonight. But Blueface baby mama Jada responds that he can't.
What do y'all think? What are y'all thoughts? What he
Can you
had to
sum it
say?
up for Can you sum it up for me? Because I barely was hearing what he was saying.
He was basically saying Tyrese part of verses was trash. Um, he said that he know that he was from Watts and he really shouldn't really be speaking on it, and he thought it was terrible. He mentioned about when Tyrese first got recognized. He got recognized for singing on the back of a bus and singing a Coca-Cola verse and things like that. So he was throwing like subtle shade towards Tyrese. He mentioned about owing Dr. Dre some money and things that way. And I just think a lot of people was disappointed with the verses because it was mentioned allegedly that Tank was throwing shots at Tyrese. Um, they said that Tank was not singing his own music. He's known for writing music for other people, and that's the music that he chose to sing, not his own. And it was a lot of back and forth of them throwing shots at one another instead of singing and engaging with the crowd. And they just really wasn't feeling it. They really wasn't feeling the verses. So that was kind of one of the reasons why I didn't watch the verse, because I really don't know Tank's music. And, sorry, Tank, I really don't know your music. I think you're a good looking man, but I don't know your music. I'm sorry. But Helen will be more of the person. Yeah, Helen said right. He didn't sing many of his songs. Um, I just I don't think that was a good match for Tyrese. Um, I'm not quite sure right off the dome who would have been a great match, but I wouldn't have paired him with Tank. I just wouldn't have done it.
Yeah, and, it sounds like a messy versus to me. I thought the Gucci Man and Young Jeezy versus was messy. This sounds very messy. I'm glad I didn't watch it. I guess um there wasn't enough momentum around it. I didn't hear about it enough. Not enough publicity, not enough information or anything. So for those reasons I didn't write it. But it just sounds like it sounds so messy. I don't know. I heard some things that Ray J said, and that's my boy right there. Love Ray J. But when you another fellow artist and you know just the extra stuff that was said, it kind of make you look jealous. Like you wasn't chosen to do. You wasn't chosen to do the job. Like chastising somebody's music or their vocals, that's cool. You know, it's amongst the music industry. It's a part of it. But you know, just saying certain stuff, extra stuff, is just like okay, like you did I really not do a good job to you, or are you mad at me for a particular reason? So it just really sounded messy, but it is good for the culture to the whole versus thing that they got going on. Hopefully, you know, we can get like a real good one. I remember one where the Bone Thugs went against 3 6 Mafia. It was almost a fight there. Then Jeezy and Gucci Man went, and Gucci Man telling Jeezy about his dead homie who he put in the grave. And it's like, bro, like it's supposed to be something good for the culture. Why is y'all getting up here acting a fool like this? And I hate to say it, but it ain't. It don't be nothing but our people. If Justin Bieber and one of the Backstreet Boys was up there having a versus, it'd probably be a regular versus, no fighting, no yelling, no nothing. Why do we got to go everywhere and act a fool? As much money, clout, and attention and fame that we have, why the hell do we gotta go everywhere acting a fool? That's why we don't have anything now. It's because of stuff like that. I just hope one day we have a good one that's memorable. Because even till this day, I just don't remember a very good, memorable verses that I can watch over and over. It's all either been trash or something either happened, and it was just like I had lost respect for Gucci man after I seen that versus he did with Jeezy. And I gained so much respect for Jeezy because he kept it calm, kept it composure, and kept it professional. While he got Gucci man on the other side of the stage making real life threats. Like after the verse is over with this and that, like in between this job, he's making real life threats upon this man. And it's just like then the whole 3 6 Mafia and Bone Thugs that happened because of somebody verse was better than the other. Ain't this supposed to be a competition? You know what I'm saying? And so it's just like, damn, our people can't really go no damn where without cutting up. It's just like, and it's people that's in position like me that's working for every, you know what I'm saying, of respect that I'm earning. I'm working for every piece. And these is artists that went viral overnight with one song and you know what I'm saying, and now their life changed. And so they take that opportunity that they've been blessed with and they do things like this with it. They don't show the next generation how you supposed to act or how you supposed to perform or how you supposed to, you know, how you supposed to carry yourself as an artist. They go and do things like this. And so the generation is coming up behind them thinking, okay, the only thing that we can do is do something to gain clout, do something to go viral in this video. And it's just sick for me. So I don't watch a lot of it. I don't watch a lot of these rappers for that particular reason. We're getting
For
ready to
me,
close this
for
thing.
me,
We're getting ready to close this thing out, Fanny. Do we have any announcements or anything?
yes. Please stay tuned to more of the amazing TSM. And if you haven't watched Who's Your Man, there is a new episode 16. Go tune into that. And also tune in to Sissy Helen, what she got going on. She just dropped a video of her walking down the runway. So if you haven't seen that, go check that out. And stay tuned to all the collabs that he have with his great artists. Our girl May May. Shout out to her. Be looking forward for that interview as well. I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited for it as well. And shout out to you, May May, once again for reaching out and responding to me. I thank you. I appreciate that so much, sis. Um, and shout out to you guys as well for showing up and showing out. And every time you coming over here, you liking the video, sharing this out. Shout out to Reverb Nation for always coming through with those questions as well. And shout out to you, TSM, who made a young man smile by doing a fire collab with him. That song is hitting. Man. You talking about my state too? You know what I'm saying? But shout out to you, Elijah, and thank you once again for everybody who joined us tonight. So TSM, let's close us out in prayer.
Dear Lord Heavenly Father, please bless those who have the mindset to not bless themselves or to not pray for themselves. Give them the mindset to pray for themselves. Please bless those in need of a prayer, a hug, a smile, and more. Please turn the situations around of those who need to be turned around. Bless us with the finances and bless us with the prosperity and the love that we need. Spread it amongst this earth for those who's in need of that. In the name of Jesus, we pray. Amen. Y'all make sure that y'all have a good night, man. It was a good one for y'all. See y'all later.